Hello and welcome to the GhostÉire Channel. Hope you are having a great evening. Tonight we are joined by Paul McAleer from Sky Sightings NI. We'll be talking to Paul shortly. Tonight's subjects will include UFOs and UAPs, also monitoring extraterrestrial phenomena, and the final subject will be Sky Sightings NI. If you have any questions, feel free to put them forward to Paul this evening. Or you could go to our website, www.ghostére.net, go to the contact page, fill in the blanks. If you have a private message, just put in brackets, private message. We're also coming live through the GhostÉire channel, the red button through our website, www.ghostére.net. You can watch us live via that, or you can watch the show afterwards through that. You can also watch past shows and find out what's coming up on the future on that page. Our email address is ghost_era66@yahoo.com. Also, if you're affiliated with any paranormal team or tourist attraction, feel free to name the group or the organization and we'll give a shout out to you. So just a few more shout outs before we come to Paul. Hi, Joanne Breen. How you doing from back in time? Hi, Joanne. Hope you're keeping well tonight. Sorry, now I've got a bit of a cold as well. I won't pass it on to anyone, hopefully. May from Seekers of the Afterlife, Mary from Back in Time, Joanne from Seekers of the Afterlife. How you doing? How you doing, Mary from Back in Time? And Irene from California. How you doing, sis? Hope you're keeping well and hope you're keeping safe as well at the moment, because I understand there's wildfires there in California as well. But I hope you keep them dry and safe there. That's the main thing there. Yes, so folks, tonight's topics are going to be talking about UFOs and UAPs, and also monitoring extraterrestrial life phenomena, and also Sky Sightings NI. Also, folks, we have a competition tonight. We have a chance to enter a Halloween mega draw. Be the first one to type a word, which I'll give you later on, and you'll have a chance to go into our Halloween mega draw. There's a little competition later on. So, Paul, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing great, Anthony.
How you doing? We've got some great footage. We've got some great footage to show tonight as well. Some interesting stuff there. Can you tell us first, though, Paul, how did you get first interested in this sort of topic?
I would put it down to curiosity. Watching NASA TV, being a bit of a Trekkie in my younger days, always interested in space and all that kind of thing, really. That led on to, I suppose, doing a bit of research into the possibility of life. And then that led to like the Roswell incident and Ramsden Forest and the Pentridge incident and one thing after another. And I started thinking, I thought, if these things are spotted globally, Northern Ireland isn't exempt from that. So the idea of maybe using technology, a camera, first camera I bought, a little cheap thing from Amazon, wasn't great. But what it did do, it allowed me to spot wee things in the sky that I'd not seen before, like lights or moving objects. And so it sort of went from there. And then that developed into an upgrade. So I upgraded my cameras to night vision cameras, or Hikvision color view cameras as they are. So they can sort of see in really, really like low light. So you literally need one star in the sky and the whole picture lights up. Ideal security camera, but obviously I'm facing it up. So the technology in color view, what it does, it pulls out the white in the stars or the light in the sky, and it enhances it, but it keeps the black black. So it's a bit like if you went out on a sort of semi-clear night, you might see 30 or 40 stars. Look through one of these cameras and you see about 30,000 stars. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I seen
I started off with one and then I got another, and it sort of went on from there.
I've seen the footage there, and it's anything more advanced than what I've got there, doing the paranormal, mini ghost hunting kind of stuff there,
Yeah.
Oni Brown says, "Hi, Oni, how you doing, bro?" He says, "Hello, everyone." So yes, going on to the first subject, we're supposed to be talking about UFOs. We're going to that first, and UAPs. Can you tell me what people have been taught? What does a UFO look like? What occurrences is UAP?
Right. So there's different over our history. If, for example, you went to Google what does a UFO look like, you can probably get 30 or 40 different images, all different types of disc-shaped objects. But more often than not, more recently anyway, it tends to be more triangle-shaped or bright white lights, like an orb-type craft. You can get bright lights, discs, triangle, pyramid, orb, and tic tac, as seen in the Nimitz incident in 2004 by the US military, which is one of them videos. But there's been videos over time people have took. The government's been watching these things, albeit denying the fact that they were doing it in the first place. In 2007, I think it is. No, there was a video in 2004, one in 2015, and they got leaked onto the internet unofficially. And then eventually the US government come out and said, look, these things are real. You know, there are videos that have been took from military personnel on F-18. I think they were F-18 Hornets, actually, fighter jets. So it's quite interesting, the technology, how it advanced. Now, it's sort of, they claim they never always seen them. Some of the most recent reports would be of fighter jet pilots seeing these things, but not visually. So the radar systems they were using on the fighter jets was, it was upgraded basically, on the FA-18s. And from that time, as they sort of upgraded their fleet, there was more and more being spotted and recorded. But it's not only recent times. This thing goes way back. It goes back to the 40s and maybe before it. And then if you look at the ancient side of it and civilizations, as we've got like the Mayam and all that, it goes way, way back. Like, so these things have been around for a long time, you know. Now, there is one thing they say, there's five observables. Okay, so the five observables, basically, it's how you can see if it's a UFO. It's not got wings.
Okay.
It's got no signs of propulsion. So if you looked out on a clear day and you see a plane going over, you'll see a vapor trail. They don't have any of that. They're fast moving. And they can be here on one minute and then over there the next minute, or 50 miles away.
Right.
High velocity. All that kind of stuff. So there's a lot to it, you know. A lot of people, they might say, well, I seen a UFO. Well, what did you spot? More often than not, it could be a weather balloon or something, or it could be a drone. There's a lot of them about. But there's five observables you go by: high velocity, instantaneous acceleration. So from going from stationary to just basically disappearing, they vanish that quick.
And you mentioned civilization. I suppose has the UFOs been seen like in centuries past? Has it been? I know there's some portraits people have seen, weird paintings, I think by Da Vinci and all that, which has strange phenomena in the sky.
Yeah, there's paintings like the Madonna painting, which is you're going back to.
She's a great artist as well.
Yeah,
Sorry, that's a joke.
It was the late 1400s. There's actually a number of them. There's not just one painting. There's one with crest in it, and there's others. There's a wreck of them. You can Google them. You'll get them up. But it's a Madonna painting, and in the backdrop of the painting. Now, bear in mind, this is 1450-ish.
Yeah.
There's a UFO on the top right-hand corner of this painting, and it's emitting light. So you can see the shape of the UFO. It's sort of tilted on its side like this. There's a glow around it. And there's a wee man at the back of the picture with his dog. And both the dog and the man is looking up at this object like this, as if to block the sun out of his eyes. So he's deliberately looking at this thing, and that's how they're depicting it in the painting. Again, it's 1450.
Yeah, that's just not too far away.
We didn't have flight then.
Yeah, that's
I think
true.
it
Yeah.
was, yeah, you know what I mean? It was like it was the late 1700s when we started to look at flight, and beyond that to where we are today. So for an object to be in a painting from the 1400s, many paintings actually, some of the paintings had multiple of these objects in, clusters of them, all depicting light or disc shapes on an angle. They don't
Yeah.
belong in a picture like that. You
No,
know what I
no,
mean?
it's like photo bombing, a new type of photo bombing. But can you tell us what kind of cases intrigue you, either in Ireland or abroad? But what cases intrigued you the most linked to UFOs or UAPs?
My biggest case, right, is Roswell of
Hmm.
47.
Obviously, yeah.
So I'd class it, and a few people do, as the holy grail of ufology, and it's simply because it's a case that went mainstream overnight.
Hmm.
It started off, a guy had a ranch. He got up one morning and he found bits of material, supposedly wood and tinfoily type material,
Hmm.
but he didn't recognize it. So he contacted the sheriff, and the sheriff didn't know what it was, so he contacted Roswell Army Base. Roswell Army Base come out and had a SWAT of people there and trucks and all sorts, moved everything off site. Now, the guy who had originally discovered it in his yard on his ranch said he knew what a weather balloon was, and it wasn't a weather balloon.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just a fascinating story. There's so many elements to that story. It's an interview in its own right. Like,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it's still not closed.
Hmm.
Now, 50 years after that happened in 47, the US government come out and says it was a secret project that was going on. They were trying to find, it was I think something to do with the Soviets and the nukes, if they were testing nukes. So they were
Right.
using these high altitude weather balloons, state of the art things they had at the time. And that was 50 years after. Now, they didn't have to comment on it, but they did.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
there's stories of some of the military personnel who was in the actual base and what they saw. And there was a guy I was reading today. He was like an undertaker, and he did a bit of work for the army base that the craft and the beings were took to.
Hmm.
And a lady he knew who worked there, and he was chased out of the place.
Hmm. Yeah.
And his life was threatened and various other things.
Yeah.
She ended up disappearing later in life.
All
And
right.
the body supposedly was moved from Roswell, which I'm sure people have heard about, the Roswell autopsy.
Hmm.
And then it was moved to Wright-Patterson, which is further up. I can't think it's in Ohio, I think it is. It's another base up there. So the craft was eventually took to Area 51 for reverse engineering, and the bodies were took up to Wright-Patterson.
Right.
You know, it's interesting. You know, it's a rabbit hole when you start feeling around and you get bits of information and joining the pieces together.
It's all kind of linked, isn't it? There, so it's
Yeah,
interesting. It's just linked with
yeah.
what's sort of what to Joanne's just said. I just got a few more shout outs. Brian from Belfast Paranormal Investigators. Hi, Brian. I'm going to be showing some footage above Northern Ireland, which is going to be very intriguing. It's going to be very intriguing above our skies. Lindsay, how you doing, sis? Hope you're doing well. How you doing? Joanne says, is it true? Is it true that a lot of fighter pilots from years ago, 1940s, 1950s, were warned, even threatened to not divulge what they came to have seen, UFO sightings?
Yeah, definitely. Even up to recent times.
Mm.
I'll talk about it a bit more, but later down the questions. But they have a program. Well, they had a program, ATIP. So I'll talk about that later. But yeah, there's a lot of that. Like even today, like if you speak to a pilot, I didn't see anything and I wouldn't report it, and you know,
Yeah,
it's a taboo subject. You don't do it or you lose your stripes. Like,
yeah. I
but
suppose
that's changing. That's
yeah.
changing.
Well, if you're in right now, you don't ever get a chance to really see any aliens. You're in and out. Sardines
But
in a
you
can.
think it would be in their own interest, like, you know,
Mm.
to allow the pilots to report these incidents? Why not?
Yeah.
That's, you know, like you go back to the Roswell thing just briefly.
Yeah.
When it went into the paper that evening, there's an evening paper and a morning paper, two papers in one small town. Rare occurrence, but still, it went into the paper. But it went into the paper from a military officer on the base, and it said that the US Army has in its possession a UFO. Why would an army personnel misidentify an alien craft to a weather balloon? They wouldn't. There's lots of these wee things that really. Then the next day they change the story and says, "Oh no, it was a weather balloon." It doesn't make sense, to be honest with you.
No, there's a lot of things. We'll come to like kind of the little things there. Probably, I suppose,
Mm.
one other question before I'm going to show a bit of footage there shortly. Well, I'll just read what Mary says. I think we've been stealing their technology since Roswell.
Well, if you believe we have, you know, that's fair enough. I believe if you look at the reverse engineering, yeah, fiber optic cables was supposedly had come out of this. There was a lot of technical advancements shortly after the crash into the general public.
Right, yeah.
You can do research in multiple things, but fiber optics was definitely one of them.
Right. TikTok? No, that's just no, that's another phenomenon. TikTok. Sorry, that's I'm talking about something else. So I'm going to show a bit of footage now. This is from what Paul's. I'm going to actually ask Paul what it is shortly there, like you know. But I'm going to show you it now, folks. There. So have a look at this. This is interesting. This is happening above our skies, and here it goes. Sorry, now there. I think you've seen it there. So it's a clip showing one like kind of object in the sky, and it's been followed by other there, Paul. There, can you tell us where was that caught and what you think it is?
That was caught within 2 weeks. I've caught a few since. One the other night actually. Similar, two objects, but I think the one I caught the other night was. I can't confirm it. I think it was like Starlink or something. But them there, no, it was about a week or so, 2 weeks ago when I caught them. Very, very strange. If you zoom into it, you can see them turning. Space junk? No, I don't believe it one bit. More orb type of a craft.
Right. And like as I'm just going to talk about some other stuff there, like as in where in the world, like do you notice in the world, or you've known from the world from doing all this kind of research and all that, where in the world is the most frequently associated region with UFOs and UAPs that you think?
Chile's a big place. They have a lot of stories going back. But generally speaking, anywhere, anytime. these are global events, and not just sort of within US Mexican borders. Like, you know, they're everywhere. They've been everywhere for a long time. They've been spotted a lot of times. Even if you look at the history of the military side of it, they've been spotted over military bases. I don't know if you know about the Rendlesham Forest incident. There's an army base next to it that held nukes in the UK. Montana, I think it was in '64. There was an incident at a military base that held ICMs. Now, it was housing these missiles. The compound was underground. So when you looked at the base from above, it was just a fence and grass and a single building.
Right, yeah.
And security man in it. And one night, security was outside it, and they seen this big, humongous red light, like an orb type or craft type thing. Underground was going crazy. All the ICMs went offline, 10 of them. And they were running around trying to figure out what was going on. They had no control over anything. Right. So if they needed to have launched within that window, they couldn't have done nothing.
Okay.
Rendlesham Forest, the incident at the military base there, it was spotted on the ground. You know, that's a story in itself. But the actual military base, it was seen, I think it was within 2 days later, scanning with a beam, moving in a zigzag formation, as if it was a grid scan of the area, and then started to put this powerful bright beam over as if it was scanning to see what was inside. And the actual personnel on base actually had guys check to see if everything was all right, because at the end of the day, it was nuclear armory. Like, now that's happened as well with Soviet missiles as well, all over the world. So these things are spotted everywhere. There is a big interest in the military and the nuclear side. There's a big history of UFOs and the interest in nuclear technology. I suppose it sort of started to appear, you know, in more modern times when we started to demonstrate the ability of nuclear technology. Right. So it's an interesting thing. Like,
Lindsay just said, "Oh, good, Anthony. Thanks. Hope you're all keeping well." This is interesting because I was going to talk about you. To one of the subjects was about Skinwalker Ranch in America. I want to know, what do you think about Skinwalker Ranch? I hear a lot of strange sightings there. Have you seen that program? And the story, the stuff.
Yeah, I think it's in season 3 at the minute. I watched bits and bats of it. It was too entertaining.
Phenomena. I don't know what this phenomena is. Phenomena was every 2 seconds. Oh, I know I mentioned it in here. Like, go ahead.
It was too much of it for entertainment rather than fact for me. So I sort of didn't stick with it. Like, but I know your man Bigelow had an interest in it for years. Trying to think of what he'd call him, his first name.
It's not Juice, is it?
What's it? Sorry, Anna?
It's not Juice, is it?
No.
Jeez,
I can't believe I can't remember him, because he's a big UFO interest. Like, anyway, whatever. I know he had it at one point, and I know there's strange things going on and all that, but I don't really know too much about Skinwalker, to be honest. Like,
yeah, well, I watched the series there up to series 2 there so far down. I must probably watch the third one when it comes out there. You know, well, it is out there, but I went further down the line. Well, notice that there's always seems to be some weird stuff. They bring in these people that are experts in the kind of technology that they use, and they bring them in, and they don't. It's the first time it's ever happened here that something goes mad. It's a bit, I don't know, sometimes a bit over the top. It is a bit over the top kind of stuff there, especially when you've got a tape measure that's a bit that's moving all around the place there, and it's obviously it's on a bendy hand, wrist. And Gary says, "Good evening. I had possible UFO experience where I lost a bit of time when I witnessed what looked like a UFO." True, Gary. Gary said that.
Well, that's not unheard of. If you're going back to, over time, UFO abductions, a lot of people lose time. They don't even know they've been abducted in some cases. A lot of abductions take place while people are in the home. You don't necessarily have to be walking out down a dark road or across a dark field and see a light and then you disappear. it's an interesting subject, and some of the claims from witness testimonies are very interesting. Like, look, you're going back to the idea that, you know, it stems back from your Adam and Eve story to we were seeded here by a crashed UFO in the Antarctic. You know, whatever spin you put on it, there's a lot of stories, like, but it's interesting.
Okay, go on to the next question. Good evening. I had a possible UFO experience where I lost a bit of time when witnessed what looked like a UFO. That's Gary again. So that's a joke. I don't know, it's lost time again. Bridget, hi guys. I do believe that they hide a lot of things from us. Any sightings are hidden from us. That's what Bridget says there. We're going to go into even more into like kind of government stuff there. Lindsay says, "Oh, 100%." Bridget. Paul says, "Hi, I was out and about." No worries, Paul. Nice to see you now. Ren says, "Played a prank on us though." Okay, yeah, I don't know. Skin Manch, I think a portal or something parallel. Yeah, I think there's a lot to do with EMF there, isn't there? And Skinwalker Ranch there. There's a lot of like, I think it's the land. If they did a land, I think they've done a land survey there, and it's actually the ground is actually the material, the stone work has actually caused a lot of activity there. Like, and obviously water would do as well. You know, what would you think they were simply observing and keeping an eye on us that we don't create World War III, hence checking out military bases? What do you think of that, Paul?
I don't think they're going to stop a World War III should it ever happen. Observation of a civilization, a race of people, maybe. Again, there's the idea that we were seeded here. It was a big experiment. Their reappearance over the years is to check on their experiment. But again, it's a whole other subject within ufology that you could talk about. It's huge. But yeah, possibly. I don't know about stopping a World War III, though. I think we've had plenty of wars over the years, and they've not stopped one of them.
No, true.
And we've got nukes.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on people's perspectives of who wants what and who's. I was going to say, like, where's the best place to see UFOs? Okay, so we're talking about, I know we are about regions, but now saying your local environment, like, where's the best place to see UFOs?
Anywhere. Now, there's two ways to look at it. One, you could say, right, well, the best place to see a UFO is somewhere where it's not cloudy, it's a clear starry night, there's no light pollution or anything else affecting your visibility, maybe through your eyes or through technology. That's not the case. I always used to think that a long time ago, but it's in more recent times, specifically over the last number of years, and well, even less than that, looking at pictures and even what people are claiming to have seen on cloudy nights. I have a WhatsApp group, and there's a gentleman in there from Northern Ireland, and he was outside one night and he spotted a UFO in the sky. It was lights within the cloud, moving slowly like this across the cloud. So light pollution, yeah, he lives on the edge of a town. No, I don't think it's going to make any difference, to be honest. I'm in a city. I'm full of light pollution. Some nights you can look at the cameras and it's cloudy and all you see is orange. And you go outside, it's black. It's just the light pollution, you know. But if you can get far away, yeah, higher altitude objects you'll start seeing more satellites, space debris, all sorts of things, you know. But anywhere's fine.
Yeah, those rotten shoes have got to go somewhere. Those kickers, those trainers, space debris. God, I wish it landed on me. I'm short of shoes at the moment. Before we go on to keep your ears peeled now, because I'm going to give you the word to go into the competition. The last question there, before we go on to the next question, is what's your personal favourite sighting so far there, Paul?
Right. Well, personally, I had two good sightings. One was in County Tyrone, and the other was in Belfast. In fact, I'll say the Belfast one. I have a video of it. I think it's video 3.
Okay.
On the website. And I was going to bed one night, getting up for work in the morning early, and I always have a habit of pulling the curtains and looking out in the darker nights before I go to bed, like. And I looked out this night and I seen this light just over the way. It was only, I don't know, you could throw a stone at it literally. There's apartments over the way here. And I seen this light in the distance, but that's where, anyway, the light started coming closer and closer and closer, and it got brighter and brighter, and then it stopped. Now, you couldn't hear anything outside. It was just, you could hear a pin drop. It was late on at night. You could hear a pin drop. There's no cars, no nothing. And this thing stopped stationary with no noise, and it just stayed there. And the first thing I did was whip the phone out. Weren't a great phone at the time, like, but I recorded it anyway. And I recorded a minute of it, and then it started to move. And I pulled the curtain, and I told my wife what had happened, and that was the end of it. And I was like, the next day, I was thinking, why did I not belt that? But it's rare. It wasn't a helicopter.
No.
Right? This thing you couldn't hear enough touch.
Yeah.
Had no sound, no wings, no nothing, no flashing lights.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of them things you light a wee candle in and it goes up.
Yeah.
Wasn't any of them.
Yeah.
None of it. And I don't know what it was this day. So that would be my favourite.
Is this video free? I think what I'll do.
Yeah.
What I'll do, we've got the clip of it, then we'll show it straight now afterwards, so people get the gist of what is in it.
Yeah, that's all right.
First of all, we're looking for a person to put this word down, and you've got a chance to go into the competition, so get your fingers ready. So the word that I need you to type in, the first word, well, the only word, is Men in Black. So MENINBLACK, Men in Black. I love that film. It's amazing. Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones. Men in Black, who's going to go in there? Be the first person to type that word in, and you have a chance. Men in Black. Irene gets in there. Whoa, that was quick. Irene from California. So stay tuned there, sis. They're all coming in there. Joanne's second there. Bridget's third. Paul's Minions in Black. Sorry. That'd be cool. That's got to be filmed. And Mary says that. Okay, so stay tuned now, Irene, and we'll go into the chance to go into the Halloween mega draw. Okay, so this is the clip. I think this is the clip there. I'm just going to show this, Paul. This is what you were just on about there before. We just had that little intersection. I played the wrong video again, haven't I? Damn it. Okay, so can you explain? Well, show that one that you mentioned before later on, but can you explain what happened there? It's like something moving across the sky, like an arc,
it arcs over. I think it was in 2021. that was captured on my first camera. That was true speed, so it's not speeded up. The only thing changed in that video is the color, and the reason for it, because in the original it was too dark, so I applied a green filter and give the effect of, you know, across the picture. But you can see the object. It actually comes from the top left and it goes down, but it also goes off into the distance. There's two. I've actually, there's a couple of videos like that I've got, and they act a similar way. Again, zoom in on the footage, it gets blurry regardless, but it's not a bird flapping.
No.
It's going too fast.
Yeah,
There's a trail behind it. Okay. That's just an effect of the frame rate on the camera. So the Hikvision cameras are run at 25 frames for 4K. So it's borderline in 4K or good 1080. So you get this trail in certain conditions at the back of whatever's moving fast. And that's all it is. Like.
I suppose it's,
Sorry, go ahead, Anthony.
No, I was just going to say, like, with you see this trail there, maybe who's to say that like these objects don't have some sort of fuel kind of capacity in them? There's something that to get across there that it's not part of our that we know of anyway. Anyway, if it is what we're using like the military, then it is a bit unusual anyway there, which is, you know.
Yeah. Well, if it's it could well be military. You know, we don't know everything the military's doing. They do test things in our sky constantly. A lot of the, funny enough, if you go back through history again, especially in the States, the military have a tendency to keep things secret for a period of time. And then they start testing the waters and flying these things over populations. And you find, if you look, the reports of UFOs, and you correlate it with whenever they was testing the technology in the public domain, there's more reports because it's an unknown object, you know. So it could well be a UFO. I don't know. It could well be something military or whatever else, all the above. It's hard to know. Like,
it's very unusual though, very strange. Bridget says, I believe they are smarter than us. Mary is right. They are observing us. They are able to fly around and watch us. So we're going to touch on the next subject. I'm just going to come through a few more things there because the next subject is going to be monitoring extraterrestrial phenomena. Paul says, where was the Belfast one? As I live there, North Cave Hill. I'm close to, interested to see only one PSNI helicopter in Belfast.
Yeah, you'll see that. Okay. It was at the time I was over in South Belfast, so it was took there. I think it was, where was that? It was down by the towpath in Stranmillis at the time.
And then Joanne says, has anyone said about a shooting star there?
No, I can show you videos of shooting stars against that one. They're completely different.
So we're going to touch on the next subject, which is going to be monitoring extraterrestrial phenomena there. So I suppose the first question, how would we make contact with life forms there, Paul? How do we, or what are we doing at the moment?
Right. So you'd be looking at passive monitoring. So you could use, like, we have a SETI, if you've heard of it.
Right.
It's American based. It uses what they call the Allen array, telescope array. It was purposely built. I think, if I'm right, it was 64, would it be? Don't quote me on the year. I think it was 64 or something it was built. Wow. And it was to detect life beyond our own world, like out there. So they did try in 74 to beam a message up to the M13 cluster, but it was more of a demonstration as to, here's a message, can we contact ET?
Yeah.
Now, they might have done it since and never said, but I don't know. But if you want to monitor them, yeah, satellites, James Webb,
I was just going to say
exoplanets.
that. What do you reckon
Look
about the
at
James Webb? Is that gonna detect more? Has that got the capability?
It'll have the capabilities of looking at atmospheric conditions and what the makeup is, and then obviously, right, well, what's the likelihood that there's life on planet A or B, like, you know? But it's one form of doing it. There's many forms, but that would be your main two. You'd be looking at satellite technology.
So that's the only.
Radio
So that's,
waves, even, you know.
yeah, like infrared wavelengths and all of that. Is there any way we can? I suppose that is that the only possible way we can make contact without them actually finding out about us?
Well, all we can do is listen and watch. That's it. Using telescopes, satellite technology, technology like the James Webb or the Hubble. Like even the ISS is constantly manned and has been for years. There's conspiracies around what's been spotted up there. So that's another form of monitoring. It's a station in a high atmosphere looking out into the darkness of space. So
yeah,
that's another form.
Yeah, and I suppose, like as I mentioned, like that's why I waved my eyes there, because it was on about how do we make contact with them if without them noticing us. Do you think government agencies know, or do they already make contact? They don't want to tell us? And but if not, what do you think their protocols would be if they did make contact, alien life forms?
Right. Well, there's a PDP. It's a post detection policy or a post detection protocol, and it was formed by SETI, who we've just heard of, and then NASA had their spin on it. It's more of guides and rules in and around what happens if we make or not necessarily make contact, but we detect contact. So we come across a radio signal in some planetary system, and we're able to confirm that it's extraterrestrial and it's not from some kind of anomaly in deep space. That's all part of it too. It's about the finding out, the questioning, the analyzing of the signal and what it means. So yeah, that's
yeah. So I suppose we
we
won't know
there's
until.
there's nothing no government would come out and say we have this, because they don't have it. It's more of an idea than something that's rubber stamped and this is the way it's going to be, like, because inevitably you're talking about humans in general, and if you're talking about science, there's got to be a leak coming out somewhere before they get down to the part in the PDP document that states this is how we address the general population. There's negative sides to it too. So there's theories and ideas in that the financial markets are crash, or there's the religious element of it too. You know, we're gonna that it's gonna make us think differently. Well, I thought we was unique and a creation of God, but yet there's other beings out there. So it's a minefield. So I suppose it's nothing in stone, but it's an idea, and it's something a few countries have signed up to, but nothing to say, well, this is it and that's the way it's going to be done, you know.
And like I know there's been NASA done experiments there in the past there, and this next question, I'm going to come to your other questions there, Mary and Paul, there, what you just said. But no, we can't, so far we can't reach out as a humankind, the human race. We can't go as far as the moon at the moment there. But there's been research in the past with NASA and all that, like using telepathy and all that, you know. Now, say aliens, can they, like extraterrestrial life, can they contact us non-physically without bodiless kind of method ways, as in making contact with us using our minds, something that we lost many generations, centuries ago, millennia ago, sorry.
Well, if you look at abductions and a lot of the witness testimonies in and around abductions, they would state that there was no they communicated with beings through telepathy. There's a whole science behind it that's been looked into it also. So yeah, it's a form of telepathy. If you look at Stephen Greer, who's a ufologist, he created the CE5 protocol, which is a type of meditation, a peaceful means of communication with a non-human entity. And what he's done, he's set up recordings, videos, cameras, state-of-the-art stuff in some cases. And as they've done the meditation in a group, the C5 supposedly, you can do it on your own, but it's better if you do it in a group. And they've recorded the event, and they've gone to a dark place out in the middle of nowhere, no light pollution, recorded the pitch black. But after they've reviewed the recordings, light entities have been seen in the video, or light shooting across the sky. And it was all done through thought, meditation, you know, the idea of peaceful communication. And these things are supposedly coming in. Now, it's not just him saying this. A lot of people globally who do CE5, they're strong advocates of it. They truly believe it's a real thing. It's not something that's imagined, because it's global, and there's a lot of people globally doing it. Like, oh, yeah.
And like these, these objects. I know there's people that want to, I suppose, make contact. Then is there ways that people have known, like probably abductees, probably one of these people would know that. Is there any ways of trying to prevent aliens making contact with you?
No, would be the answer.
I know.
It's as simple as that. Some claim, that I don't know, that it's another area, but some claim before you're born, you already agree to the idea of communicating or interfacing in some way with other entities. But again, that's another podcast. It's a huge subject. Like,
and then
no, there's nothing generally day to day. You're walking down the street to the shop for a loaf of bread, and whoop, you're gone.
Yeah, you got zapped. There you go.
No, you've no choice.
Joanne says, as Paul mentioned beforehand about religions on Earth and all that, be catastrophe, like people's beliefs and all that. Joanne says, abductees have claimed they see tiny pieces of metal or sorts have been implanted under their skin. Doctors have reportedly removed these objects. Is there any microscopic info these things? That's happened to my sister-in-law, that they found something in her ear.
Did they?
Yeah, which they didn't know. They didn't operate on there. What do you reckon to that there, Paul?
Yeah, again, there's a whole thing about now. I forget his name. There's a guy, he's no longer with us. He's passed away. He's American. But he spent most of his life removing implants from people. Now, a lot of them didn't know they had them until certain parts in their life, or they'd been in an accident and they had an X-ray, or they found a lump on their arm or on the leg, and they got it investigated by their GP or the doctor or whatever. And they ended up, some of the cases, they went to him, and he removed these things from people's bodies. Now, they did RF checking on them to see if these things were transmitting. Now, the microscopic size in some cases.
Yeah.
Now, you would think if there's a foreign body in you, it would create infection or other problems. But the way these things are created, the body accepts it, and it like cocoons it and accepts it into the body. Now, there was, I don't know where I heard it. I think it was in a documentary I watched, so don't quote me. But it went along the lines of these things were communicating on military frequencies, and they actually looked into it because they didn't understand. If they're transmitting on military frequencies, they've never been seen before, it's an extraterrestrial piece of technology, then there must be ground stations receiving it to transmit it out, which means they're here. So it's
Yeah.
it's a whole minefield, you know. But
Yes.
yeah, I believe in it 100%.
Yeah.
I've
So
seen too much evidence to state that it's fact, and it's not coming from Mr. Crazy in the corner. It's coming from renowned scientists and doctors globally at high levels, you know. So there's a truth in it, and that's it.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, I know people would say the surgeons having previous surgery stuff being left in the body or something like that, but these are people that haven't been operated before, and
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. You can understand there's a bit of cloth or whatever it is that's been left in or whatever, and
Stuff, a
not stitched
newspaper.
Yeah.
So, we have to be, you know, we don't want some for Fox page 3 appearing in your body somewhere. So,
No, the wife would question that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Anyway, okay, we're moving briefly on there. So, Eileen, you have a chance now. So, this is the competition. You're in the haunted house of the Fairbanks House, the oldest timber structure in North America, and there's a restless Native American spirit. And to free the spirit, you have to find a feather. So you have 4 options there. You have to find the feather there, Irene. You can either find it in a book, or inside the fireplace, inside the cauldron, or underneath the rug. So either type book, fireplace, cauldron, or rug there, Irene. So one of those 4. Paul, which one would you go for? Because you're in it as well. You got a chance to go in the draw. Book, fireplace, cauldron, or rug.
You know what? I seen your post today. I was looking at it today, and I thought, you know what? I reckon I'm going to say the chimney.
Chimney, the fireplace.
I'm not going to say the book because I think it's too obvious.
Okay, so Irene up for fireplace as well. We got 2 for the fireplace. Oh, this is interesting. So find out now after the last section at the end of the show, and we'll see if you're both right. Okay, so we're going to talk about now Sky Sightings NI. So interesting subject. So we're going to first start with Sky Sightings NI. Where is Sky Sightings NI? I know you might mention it there. And what cameras do you use?
Okay, so in Belfast, and the cameras I use would be Hikvision. I think the DS. What is it? 2C something 2347. I can put it on my website or something. The ColourView Hikvision cameras. So if you was interested in pursuing it, you could put it into eBay or Amazon or someone outlet, and you'll get them up. 4K cameras and the PoE, so the network cameras. They don't need a physical DVR as it was to record the footage.
And you notice, like, if you are looking up in the sky more with people, like I know I talked about this with you during the week there. If you're looking more for it, do you get more of these sightings? Obviously, I suppose it's like ghosts. If you go out more ghosts, you experience it more. Is that true with UFOs?
I would say you it's one thing going out to the shop or to work in the morning, you know, and looking at the sky before you go indoors again. It's another thing having cameras outside, because I find myself constantly watching them 24 hours a day. I check them in the morning. I look at the night before's footage. If I find anything goes up on the group, we talk about it there. I check it in the evening again. I monitor it there. So you would spot more because you've more eyes. You've eyes when you're out, and you've eyes when you're in the house and on the go with the mobile, checking is there anything there, you know. So yeah, you would do that.
And so you mentioned like other people. So you do collaborate with other people around the country. Would that be true? In
Northern Ireland. So there's only the group's not been going that long. It's only a recent thing. So I think there's about 8 of us in the group, and they're across a few different counties in Northern Ireland. So different reports coming in, different ideas, different, you know, it's good banter.
Is it easy to maintain the, you know, is it easy to set up? Was it easy to set up and maintain and review? Is it easy to do those things? Like,
Yeah, Hikvision offer a DVR, so like a video recorder, you plug your cameras in the back of it, away you go. There's a hard drive in it; it records the footage. But I didn't want to buy that. It's overpriced anyway. So I've got a NAS, and I use software on it. So it acts like a network video recorder. So I don't physically plug the cameras in to the NAS. I plug them into my network rack, into the switch, and the software detects them and records 24 hours a day. And I'm only actually recording. I've got no fancy RAIDs going for the NVR for the Sky recording. It's only a single hard drive. But it'll record for 10, 12 days before it starts rewriting over itself. So if you needed to go back, you could. You know, I was away there in Donegal for a few days, and I felt like my left arm was cut off because the Wi-Fi was bad. I couldn't get access to my DVR because I don't want to fire my laptop up and jump on my VPN and come back into the house. I'm going to be on a retreat, like, you know, so I could easily go back. So it's great for that, you know.
That's handy. You got that 12-day kind of, you know, period there to try and, go back on it there. So, I suppose we talked about the strange footage. What do you aim to do with the future Sky Sightings Northern Ireland, as in ways of cameras, or did you different observatories, set up observatories maybe around the country, around Northern Ireland or south?
It initially started off with 1 camera to 2 cameras. The website matured and just it's bulking out and bulking out and bulking out. I think I went from like 3 pages to 23 pages in a couple of months. But inevitably, where I want to go with it is to build out a community on my live page, on the camera page, in that there's only so many cameras I can put up here before people think I'm like I've got a PSNA tower at the back. So I don't want 5 or 6 cameras on a big post, you know. Even that they are looking up to the sky. So the idea of around the country, north and south, every corner I can think of, even as far over to as the UK mainland or the Isle of Man and way beyond, to a global sort of website where you can go on and view cameras, sky cameras that are monitoring the sky 24 hours a day. So that's where I would like to go with it.
Yeah, it's amazing. We'll go over more the details there. I suppose. So I suppose we could do that there now. So what can people find on Sky Sightings Northern Ireland and follow you there? So what ways can people? So can they register and then you can see the live cameras?
The cameras, I used to have it behind a so-called paywall, which wasn't a payable service. It was free, but you had to register. And then I moved it in front of the paywall. There's a members area, and in the members area, you've got like a small photo archive, which I've started to sort of add to. If I get footage and I'm creating a social media video for it, it'll go up to the members area 1 or 2. It'll stay there for 1 or 2 days before I put it out to social media. So it's a sort of an incentive. What else is up there? You can change your account details, your password, all that kind of stuff. There's various things up there. There's actually a document up there on my setup and how I actually stream out to the website on YouTube and that. So there's information there. But you don't need to register to actually see the cameras. You can just go on to SkySightsNI.com and click on the cam, and then it'll show you the 2 cameras.
You're also on YouTube as well. Is it TikTok and is it
TikTok? YouTube? Yeah, YouTube, Twitter. Don't really use Twitter like I used to. TikTok and YouTube I'm a main too, but I'm trying to get traffic into the site rather than pushing it out to social media. Still keeping a presence on social media. I'll always do that, but inevitably I'd like to get everybody coming to me before they go to them, if you know what I mean. But
true.
I suppose that's the same with anyone who has a website and social media accounts.
Yeah,
They'd rather have the traffic. Like,
it's hard there. I know myself. It's hard
yeah,
there with social media and all that. But you mostly do more
yeah,
work on the website, which is it's fun. The website, the best thing about it, really. There, apart
yeah.
from everyone connecting there as well, But this is going to be going to show the video footage now. This is from what Paul was talking about earlier on. This was early hours in the morning. You open up the windows and open up the curtains, and I think this is what you saw. Is this true there, Paul?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to show you this there, folks. So it wasn't the milkman anyway. I hope it wasn't. You don't get the milkman anymore. But it's interesting. So that's what you were talking about before there, Paul, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that thing that you can see the moon, obviously the biggest, brightest thing in the sky, and then under it, at the corner of that building, it come from the distance as more of a tiny dot and got bigger very quickly, and then sort of slowed down, and stopped there, and then changed directions. It went in a different path. So it was more of an L. It come towards me and then went to the left behind that building at the time.
It's interesting stuff there. Hi, Neve. Happy birthday, Neve, from Back in Time. You had your birthday yesterday. Happy birthday. And Stuart as well. How you doing, Stuart, from Back in Time? Hope you all had a great birthday party and all that, I know, but see both of you hopefully soon there. So any more details? Have you got anything else coming up there, Paul?
No, not at the moment. But if anyone's interested, you can register on the site. Check out the cameras. If you're interested in the WhatsApp group and you're wishing to share videos and continue the discussion, just sign up. It's free, costs nothing. You can leave anytime you want.
It's amazing. It's just amazing what you've caught there. And it shows what can be seen up in the sky, and amazing credit to yourself there. I know if I had any cameras up in that, I got too many seagulls and birds and magpies where I have, and I can't even get what's a babe station, so I don't know if I've got to get anything else. If our satellite system or cameras, I don't know. There's bloody cats. We got cats as well. They go up and they be hanging off it as well. So anyway, baby station. Okay. Neve says thanks, Barry. So is the competition, we're going to find out now, was Paul and Irene have both picked the 5th place, so you're going to check up the chimney. Let's see if you were both right there. Yeah, you're both into the Halloween mega draw. Woo! That's the first time. It's been 3 weeks, I think, since somebody only got it right there. So well done there, Paul. Chuffed.
Great stuff.
Chuffed there. I don't know what we've got for prizes, damn it. But Eileen and Paul, you're both into the Halloween mega draw. You joined 5 other people into the Halloween mega draw. That's about it, folks. There. Until I suppose on the next show, we are joined by Lisa Whelan, Emma Lambert, Karen Moran, and Serena Bolger from Paragirls.Ireland. Sorry, from Paragirls.Ireland, and they're going to be talking about Paragirls.Ireland Divulge, the Irish Military and War Museum, and Top Gadget. So that's on the next show, which will be about another 2.5, 3 weeks' time there, you know. Just a few more shout outs. Bridget says, from Seekers of the Afterlife, great speaker, interesting topic, great night, guys. We'll have a look at your page. Yeah, definitely. Everyone look at Sky Sightings NI. It's definitely worth a visit there. Very cool website there. And checking it, have a good view of, when you've got any spare time, have a little watch, see what's happening around the skies there. Joanne says, from Seekers of the Afterlife, thank you both, great show. Irene says, yeah, thank you, congrats, Paul. Great for the both of you there, you won the competition. And Mary Nolan from Back in Time says, thanks, guys, great show. Yes, great show, thanks again. That's it, folks, there. Thank you, Paul.
Anytime.
And I'll definitely be talking to you in the future, Dan. It's great connecting with you there, and it's hopefully we get the clear skies and we keep on watching there, and we keep on, like with civilized, like our generations before and our ancestors, we look up and see what's happening around, and fair dues to you for doing that as well, and we appreciate it there, bro.
Thank you.
Okay. So we won't see you next time. We'll see you in the near distance. Goodbye for now. Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye.